All right, so we are going to start, oops, give me 1 second, I got to slide out of order there. Okay, we're going to start with Module 6. In Module 6, you learned about insurance, wills, and contracts. Here's an example of a contract. In a contract, there's different parts. You learned about the different elements in a contract. You learned about the offer, the acceptance, the consideration, time requirements, and terms and conditions. So looking over this example, can you guys take some lines, the line tool, and maybe draw the line to where you think maybe some of these parts are? Where do you think the offer is in this contract? Where would you think that the acceptance would be? Yep, the offer is going to be the property that the landlord is offering. He's saying that this property right here, I'm going to offer it to you for so much money. Okay, where do you think, let's see, what do you think the acceptance would be? Do you see anything that might be an acceptance? I'm not quite sure if we have it in here. Okay, the acceptance is going to be where the tenant is going to agree that he'll pay so much rent for this property. Consideration is where one person is offering up something of value for something else of value. So you've got your property being offered up for the rent down here. Okay, time requirements, that would be right in here where you're going to have a date, how long the lease is going to be for. A lot of times, yeah, Matthew, that's fine because you're still in the earlier module. So what I'd really like for you to do is whatever module you're in, I'd like for you to be checking the announcement page and see when we have a live lesson that's going to cover that. And Ms. Goldstein, let me give you your moderator privileges. There you go. Okay. All right. So time requirements. Say you're signing a 6-month lease, and that is going to be your time requirement. Okay. And then we also have terms and conditions, which we don't really have in here. Terms and conditions could be some things like say you have to put down a security deposit, and if you break things in there, then they get to keep the security deposit. So basically what it's telling you is what you can and can't do and what the consequences are going to be if you break those terms. So here we go. This is just the elements once again. You've got your offer, one party. I'm going to go ahead and type these in. Your offer is when one party is going to offer something else up. Then you have your acceptance where the other party is going to ignore my spelling because I am a math teacher, not an English person. So I'm sure that's an A-N-C-E. But acceptance is when the second party accepts it, and then we have consideration. And that is, and I'm probably spelling that wrong also, but that is where one party offers up something of value for something else. And then we have our time requirements. And then finally, terms and conditions. Wow, I spell bad to begin with, but when I'm doing it in a hurry, it's even worse. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to, we've got our polling tool already set up. So a green check is going to be true and a red X is going to be false. Tell me, as a contract, does it have to be written or can it in some cases be verbal? We've got the statement, a contract can be written and in some cases verbal. Is this true or is this false? Green check is true. And a red check is false. And let's see. All right, we've got a couple of you. Well, I guess that's probably just me and Mrs. Goldstein that aren't responding. So yes, it is true. A contract can be written and sometimes it can be verbal. The problem with a verbal contract, though, is that you can't always prove that you have that agreement. So it's always better to have it in writing. All right, here's another one. A contract is a legal agreement. Is this true or is this false? Again, yes, this is true. It is a legal contract, a legal agreement. So it is legally binding. If you sign a contract, you will legally be held to follow through on that contract. You guys are doing awesome. Here's another one. Parties must be legally competent to enter into a contract. Competent means that you are able to understand what's in the contract. You're old enough, your mental capacity understands, you have the mental capacity to understand what is in the contract. Is this true or false? Oh, we've got a couple of you that think that's false. Oh, it's true. Parties must be legally competent to enter into a contract. A 5-year-old is not going to be legally competent to enter into a contract. So if they sign one, they're not going to be held accountable for that contract. Okay, the purpose of the agreement can be illegal. That means that it's not legal. Is this true or is this false? Can you have a contract? Okay, my father was tricked as a child to sign money to... that is very interesting because a minor really can't sign a contract. I'd be interested to hear more about that. Okay, so the purpose of the agreement can be illegal, and most of you are correct. That is false. It has to be legal. Whatever you are agreeing on has to be legal. You cannot have a legally binding contract that is for something like selling drugs because that is illegal. Okay, let me change our polling tools. Oh, give me a second. Okay, now we've got ABC. In a contract, how many parties have a legal or have an obligation or responsibility? Is it none? Is it only one? Or is it all parties involved? A, B, or C? You got it. You guys are fabulous. It is C. Everybody involved has a responsibility or an obligation. Okay, now we're going into insurance. You learned about a lot of different insurance, types of insurance. I'm actually going to skip over this and go right to it so we can save a little bit of time. We've got different types of insurance policies. We've got life insurance. Life insurance, thank you, Ms. Goldstein, for covering those. Life insurance would be a policy that covers in the event of somebody's death. So if I have a life insurance policy on myself and I name my husband as the beneficiary, if I were to pass away, my husband would get whatever I left, whatever the insurance policy had for me. Say I have a $200,000 policy, he would get that money. Then you have health insurance. Health insurance is very important. Health insurance will cover you in the event of an illness or hospitalization, an injury, anything like that. So it's very important because medical bills are very, very expensive. So you'll pay a premium each month, but say you had an emergency operation and that would be very expensive. Your health insurance would cover a portion of that. We also have homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance will cover your home and everything in it. You have to be sure that you know what it covers. A lot of times you'll have to have a rider for something different like, say, floods. It might not cover floods. So homeowners insurance will protect you in case of an accident with your house, or if you burn down, or there were a tornado, or something like that. Then you have auto insurance will cover your car. So if you were to get into a car accident and you have auto insurance, it will cover a portion of the repairs or to replace your car. Some other forms of insurance that we have are dental insurance, vision insurance, and disability insurance. Disability insurance would be in the case that you were disabled and you could no longer work. You would have money that would be sent to you, usually on a monthly basis, and you would use that money then to pay your bills. All right, do we have any questions? I know Ms. Goldstein is working hard to cover all those for me. Does everything look good? Why don't you guys give me a smiley if we're all on board so far? All right, I see a couple. All right, there we go. Okay, elements of an insurance policy. Hi, Stephanie. Elements of an insurance policy. We've got different things. We've got risk classification, riders, exclusions, and deductibles. Do you guys think that you can remember what each of these are and tell me where to put them? You can type them in the chat box down there. Which one of these will tell you the level of a person's risk of loss? Is it going to be risk classification? Is it going to be riders? Is it going to be exclusions or a deductible? I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to change your polling tools to A, B, C, and D. So we're going to have A, B, C, and D. So is this first one, is this going to be A, risk classification? Is it going to be B, riders, C, exclusions, or D, deductibles? I see 1 D, 2 A's, 3 A's, 4 A's, 5. Woo, you guys are awesome. Yes, this is risk classification. This is, for instance, somebody who is, say, 16 years old is going to be at a higher risk for accidents than somebody who's 40 years old. So they have a higher risk classification. All right, the next one is the amount that the policyholder pays before the insurance company will pay on an insured loss. An example of this would be your deductible is $500. Oh, I just gave it away. And you pay that before the rest is covered. Is this going to be, we've already got that one is gone. So let's cross that one out. Okay, so is this going to be a rider? Is it going to be exclusions, or is it going to be D, deductibles? Yep, you guys got it. I put that little hint in there. It is a deductible. That's the amount that the policyholder will pay before the insurance company will pay for the loss. All right. Particular losses that will not be covered by the insurance company. An example of this would be your policy may specify that it does not cover hail damage. Is this going to be, we've got two left, is it B, riders, or C, exclusions? All right, you guys got it. It's C, exclusions. These are things that are excluded from the insurance policy. And that leaves us with riders. So riders are additional coverage for things that are not covered under the regular policy. So say there was an exclusion and it said it didn't cover hail damage, maybe you could get a rider and you could pay extra and then it would cover hail damage. Another example would be towing may not be covered under your auto insurance, but a lot of times you can add that, but you would pay a little extra on your premium. All right, any questions? Go ahead and type them in the chat box if you've got any questions. And that just went over what we just did. Here's an example of an insurance policy. This is just one page of the insurance policy, so you're not really going to see everything in here. But you can see, here's some deductibles, see DED. So this is going to show the deductible. For comprehensive loss, the deductible is $1,000. So that means that if something costs $2,000, the policyholder is going to pay the first $1,000. So these are all your deductibles. These are all the amounts that will get added into your premium, and then you'll have your total premium. For auto insurance, a lot of times you pay every 6 months, sometimes you pay each month, sometimes you pay a year. Insurance companies are all different. Okay, then you'd have other pages that would show your exclusions or any riders that you're paying for. Okay. Let me change to A, B, and C. What is a deductible? A, it specifies which losses are not covered by the insurance policy. B, it is a supplement to cover something that is excluded in the policy. Or C, it's the amount of money that the policyholder will pay before the insurance company covers the loss. Is it A, B, C, or D? I've got 2 for C. How about everybody else? 4. 6. We got 6 for C and 1 for B. Let's see. You guys are really doing well tonight. You got it. It's C. The deductible is the amount of money that the policyholder will pay before the insurance company covers the loss. Fabulous, guys. Okay, let's change it again. True or false? Risk is a failure to take responsibility, reasonable actions to prevent injury or damage. I'm trying to look at the polling tools instead of reading my question. Risk is a failure to take reasonable actions to prevent injury or damage. Is this true, green check, or false, red X? We've got 4 green checks and 1 red X. 2 red X's. Oh, you guys with the red X's, you are on the ball. It is negligence, not risk. Negligence is the failure to take reasonable actions. That means that you were neglectful and you didn't take reasonable action to prevent injury or damage. You got it, Jonathan. All right. Here's another one. Go ahead and read that while I'm changing your polling tools. Additional coverage for things that are not covered under the regular policy is called A, exclusions, B, a rider, C, a deductible, D, consideration. A, B, C, or D. I see 3 answers are in. We've got 3 for A and 3 for B. What do you guys think? Additional coverage for things that are not covered under the regular policy. It looks like it's a toss-up between exclusions and riders. Oh, you guys who voted for B, you are right. A rider is additional coverage that you can buy to cover something that's not already covered under the regular policy. You guys are on a roll tonight. Okay, we've got different types of wills. You'll see over on the tools, you can grab the line tool. It's the 3rd one up from the bottom. And I'd like for you to match these up. A handwritten will prepared by an individual. Is that going to be a statutory will, a holographic will, or a formal will? Not all states recognize. Whoop. Again, I have got these answers in there. I should have proofread this. I did this quickly today. Pre-printed forms that can be found online or obtained from an attorney. Which one is that? Wills created by attorneys and are signed by witnesses. Oh, we've got lines all over the place. Let's see. I'm going to change the color here. Okay, handwritten wills prepared by the individual, and not all states recognize these. That is a holographic will. Okay, pre-printed forms that can be found online or obtained from an attorney, statutory, and then wills that are created by attorneys and signed by witnesses. These are formal wills. All right. Any questions about that? We had lines all over the place, but it looks like for the most part you guys had them.